Hey guys, Chris here again with my Kimber. Just wanted to give you a quick status update. Just when I thought I was finished with the gun, I actually received a new part in the mail today, which is the, let's see if I can get focus on that, real steel magazine release pin or screw that I've just fitted to the gun. It required some modification. Um, Now, again, just to show you what an idiot I am with the tools, actually opening the box that it came in, I cut my pinky on the scissors that I was using. So, as you can imagine, fitting the part didn't exactly go as it should have. But anyway, what I had to do was initially, I'm gonna post up some pictures of this as well, but um, this part was 2 millimeters longer on that end, and then around the edge of the actual screw head, there was just a little bit too much material, so I had to shave off a little bit around the edges of the screw head there. And also the, let's see if I can show you the original part here at the same time. This is not easy. Let's try to get some focus on that. And okay, so the top part right there is the original one. And if you notice the little catch there that engages in the inside of the frame is thicker on the original part, or actually it wasn't thicker, but it was further in on the part. So as you can see, no, let's see, I'm actually lying to you. It was the other way around. The lock notch on the real steel one was further out, and so after I had cut the back end off to make it fit into the magazine release, when I put it in, the screw head was sitting a bit too far into the frame, and the magazine release button or catch. So what I did was to match the original part, I tried to make the front end of the real part as closely matching the outer edge of the original part, so it would sit at the same depth. Now I took off about maybe 2/3 of the material on the real piece there, so there's not much left, but obviously being real steel, the part is steel, so I'm guessing it's going to be fine with that amount of material. And I just double checked here, and they sit about the same height from the magazine release. Another thing I had to do was, this is hard to film. What the? There we go. There's focus. The outer, I don't know what you should call it, the outer piece there that's thicker is bigger on, this is the original piece, and so given that that's bigger, the tension on the spring was a little bit loose on the real steel part. So what I did is, let's see if I can use a needle file to point here. Sorry if you're getting car sick by watching this. I'm filming this with a macro lens, which has like the depth of field of a human hair, basically. So what I ended up doing was, I had a ballpoint pen, well actually this is like kind of a touch screen tap thingy, but it's basically a ballpoint pen tube, and so cut off about 1 millimeter there from the end, and I pushed it onto a hex bit to expand it a little bit so that it would fit over the Jesus Christ, over the end of there, over the end of the pin, so to speak. So that what you're seeing back there, little white shiny plastic transparent thing, is the ballpoint pen tube. So basically that makes up for the lack of material there. So if I can, let's see if I can show you them side by side now. There we go. So they're pretty close, not perfect, but definitely good enough. Now, obviously, considering that I cut my pinky when opening the box, as with the rest of the parts that I've fitted to the gun, I managed to slip a little bit with the file. Not too bad, and also being such a small part, you know, it's probably easy to repaint, and nobody's gonna know any difference. So I'm gonna install it into the, well, actually let me put the original part in just so you can see how it looks. So let's get the screw in there. So there we go. I hope that's pretty much in focus. So as you can see, when I basically, if I try to emulate where this would sit inside the frame, it would be something like that. So the back end of the locking edge is big. Oh my god, my earphones have died. It's basically about there when it's locked into place. So something like that. It just barely what the hell? Oh, it's being difficult with me here. Let's see. Just gonna try to install it for you so you can see. Okay, so there it is, locked into place in the magazine catch. So you can just see where it kind of sits there. And let's just put it into the frame. Let's refocus, something like that. Let's see, that doesn't seem right. No. There we go. Let's see if I can place it back where I had it. So basically that's what the original looks like, and you can get a feel for the kind of height that it's at compared to the frame and the edge of the magazine release. So let's take that out. Well, you don't have to see that on camera, so let me just do that off camera. Switch to bit, and it's a rather small size hex. Sorry, I have to refocus again. Well, obviously, given the magnification here of the macro, you probably can't tell, but if I put my thumbnail right by there, it's fairly small, but it seems to work okay, so that's fine. So the spring goes on top, and yeah, I actually did some filing inside of the magazine release as well. Obviously, if you're smart, unlike me, you'll only modify one of the two parts so you don't mess anything up. But I only took off so little on here that it's not going to make a difference. So let me just put that in. And there it's locked into place, and you can see that it's fairly close to the other one, maybe a little bit further down. I could try to take some more material off of the catch there, but it feels kind of risky, so let's install it. There, dropped in. Let's get some focus right about there. Hex screw in, and there you go. So actually, I double checked this before I started the video. I think almost that the hex screw head is sitting more flush up against the frame and the magazine release than the original one did. So I'm happy with that. And the only thing that I noticed, since I did some filing there on the locking edge, I'm not getting enough light in there to show you, but oh god dang it. If you were to have light coming in there, you would see the filed down part where the actual bare silver steel is showing, but I guess no one except me is going to be looking all the way in there. So that's basically it. And to take off the 2mm of the locking pin in there, I just used a regular thin Dremel disc. I actually captured some slow motion footage of that with my new camera, so I'm going to put that up as well so you can see. It's probably kind of cool to look at. So that is it. So if you want a real steel hex magazine release catch on your Kimber or any other, probably any other Marui or KJ based 1911, which I think is almost all of them, you can go ahead and get the real steel part. This was $5 from Brownells in the US. Just want to show, well actually I can't show you with the, well maybe I can, with the Mac right here, just the ridiculous size of the box that they shipped it in. So there is the box, right? There is the bag it came with. I can't. And then there was all of this plastic packing. So you know, they definitely don't kid around with the packaging stuff there at Brownells. So that's cool. So that's it for me. Kind of a long video just to show you a magazine release button, but I hope you guys enjoy. Thanks. Hey guys, Chris here again. Unfortunately, my joy with the Hex magazine release screw head was very short-lived. I just had it in the gun and put a magazine in that a couple of times, and it actually worked itself loose on its own as I was doing that. And the only reason I can think of why that would happen is because that locking tab right there at the top is too thin. Since I wanted to move it in by filing off material, I've shrunk down the thickness of it, and probably because of that, when you put the magazine in and out, puts a little bit of rotational force on the whole mag release, and also probably working that pin loose, since I'm assuming it doesn't lock into the frame correctly when there's that little material left. So I guess what you could do is leave it as it is and just accept the fact that the hex head is going to be sitting lower into the magazine release. Actually, when I think about it, maybe that doesn't work at all if something else is interfering. But anyway, didn't work out this time. So if you want to try it out on your own and see if you can get it working, please do. But I guess I'm going back to the flathead screwdriver pin in mine. So, oh well, such is life. Bye-bye.